There have been tearful and emotional reunions across Israel and Gaza, with the US President Donald Trump declaring a new beginning for the Middle East. Families screamed and cried as Israeli hostages and Palestinian detainees were reunited with their loved ones. And in a major step towards ending the war, Donald Trump and the leaders of key Arab states have attended peace talks, signing a declaration to uphold the ceasefire. We have correspondents across the region tonight and begin with Matthew Doran in Tel Aviv.
For 2 years, they desperately hoped for this moment. The families of the returned Israeli hostages tightly embracing their loved ones. Avinatan Or was reunited with his girlfriend and former hostage, Noah Agamani. The couple's capture at the Nova Music Festival became an enduring image of the terror inflicted on October 7. Their reunion marked with smiles and a kiss. The feeling of joy reflected in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square.
It was really hard to keep hoping and believing, but amazingly it worked and they're home.
It's an amazing day, one of the greatest days in the history of Israel.
And this is the moment those hostages have flown over the square, which has been devoted to their memory for the last 2 years. The crowd going absolutely wild as they finally see these people returning home after more than 730 days in captivity.
They came together to press Hamas to...
Many here credit Donald Trump with getting the hostages out. The US president given a standing ovation in the Israeli parliament.
This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Before joining other world leaders in Egypt.
This took 3,000 years.
The US, Egypt, Qatar and Turkey signing a declaration committing themselves to a future of enduring peace. But major questions remain over how to achieve that. And the hostage deal hasn't yet been fully realised, with Hamas so far returning the bodies of only 4 of the remaining 28 hostages who've died. An ongoing wait for their families, but for others, relief. And the beginning of a long process of recovery. Matthew Doran, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
Excitement builds to a hero's welcome. These are among thousands of Palestinians detained by Israel during the war and held without charge. 1,700 have been released into the arms of families and friends. The time spent behind bars etched on their faces.
My brother-in-law died in my arms. He had a stroke and passed away in prison.
27-year-old Omar was held for nearly 2 years in the Naqab prison.
It was terrible. 2 years of torture, of pain. They broke us day and night.
Moain Wach says he also suffered abuse after his arrest a year ago in northern Gaza.
Every day they would beat us. The Secret Service also beat me. Torture was daily.
But for now, a rare moment of reprieve in a war that's flattened much of the Strip. Similar scenes playing out in the West Bank as prisoners serving life sentences for security offences were released.
We're happy, but it's a mix of emotions. We cry tears of joy, but we're also anxious. They told us not to celebrate, no media, no photos. We respected that. We will simply welcome him home.
You can see the depth of feeling for the people here, for these 80 prisoners that are coming out of the Israeli military jail and into the cultural centre in Ramallah. This is about 1/3 of the total prisoners being released. 2/3 are being deported to Egypt. Their families won't even get the chance to see them. Here, at least they can be reunited with their families. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Thanks be to Almighty God. I cannot describe my joy. If you want to see what happened, just look. Israel was brutal until the very end.
Freedom and family after years apart. Eric Twarchek, ABC News.
The exchange has brought rare scenes of joy to the region, but there are still many challenges ahead. Let's bring in our correspondent Barbara Miller, who joins us live now from Jerusalem. Barbara, the bodies of some Israeli hostages haven't yet been released to the Israeli government, the Israeli forces. How much of a risk does that pose to the peace process?
Look, I think it could potentially cause problems. I think the fact that Israel messaged ahead of the hostage handover that perhaps not all of the remains would be released, and the fact that they allowed Palestinian prisoners to be released as soon as the 20 living hostages were back on Israeli soil, that suggests to me that Israel for the moment is accepting Hamas's claims that it can't locate the other remains. If that intel or assessment changes and Israel believes that Hamas is deliberately holding on to hostage remains, that could certainly change things. And remember, Jeremy, the IDF still controls more than 50% of the Gaza Strip. In terms of what's next, Donald Trump left Egypt in a very good mood, apparently, saying that the rebuilding of Gaza now begins. But you can look long and hard in that text they signed there. You don't see any mention of Hamas or of an international stabilization force. So those questions on what happens now are very much still open.